Hi, my name is Lakshya Verma, and I'm currently a student based here in United Kingdoms. I've always been passionate about community development, inclusion, and including fairness, which is why I'm really excited to share my thoughts for system change, which is now hosted by EasyStepUK. So the first question which I received was, which specific system rule do you think marginalizes people most, and how would you change it? I think one of the system that marginalize people the most is the employment eligibility framework, especially for immigrants and international students. Many times, companies, even firms, hesitate to offer proper corporate rules or internships because they assume that international students might take jobs meant for the local people or the permanent residents of United Kingdoms, but that is not the reality, and not everyone here is to settle permanently. Some of us just want to gain corporate or real life corporate exposure to learn professional skills and then return home and contribute in our own economy and community. So if I could change the system, I would encourage fairer work opportunity where employers focus on skill and motivation, not the visa status. The government can also help and promote the short-term professional programs for international students. I think that would help a lot, and so that the gaining experience in the UK is seen as a contribution to global learning, not just the competition for local jobs. The next question was, give an example of a difficulty you or someone you know faced because of the systematic issue. What was the root cause? So, when I was applying, a close friend of mine from my own country faced this issue of volatile currency. Nearly he lost his UK study opportunity because of an exchange rate drop during the 28-day proof of funds period. It's a visa requirement. So, and even though he genuinely had enough money, the system refused his visa because of a single day's dip in value. The currency fluctuation is too much sometimes, and the root cause is this overly rigid policy, one that's built for easy administration rather than fairness. It punishes people for global market changes that they cannot even control, and they even nobody can guess it. And the third question is, which community forces or networks are best placed to unite for systematic change? For real change, I think we need a partnership between student unions, universities, and the legal NGOs in this country. Student unions have the stories and lived experiences of students, while universities have resources and NGOs, they can have legal expertise in this. Together, they can collect real cases and push for legal accountability, not just for political promises. By challenging unfair policies in court, they can set legal precedents that protect future students. Now, moving on to the next question. On climate or environmental issue, what serious local problems have you seen overlooked and which should be tackled first? From my own experience, a big overlooked problem is the microplastic pollution in rivers and lakes. Everyone talks about ocean plastic, but these tiny particles in our freshwater system too, entering our food and even our drinking water. In places like London and Midlands, where I am from, where I am currently living, most people drink tap water that comes from underground hard water sources, which means the microplastic can still make their way in the fresh water we consume on daily basis. It's often ignored because it's not visible, and the impact on both its impact on both health and ecosystem is serious. We can start fixing this locally through better water waste treatment plants and stricter industry regulations, and telling people and making awareness campaigns that show how small everyday changes like reducing plastic use can protect our water and health. And then moving on to the next question, where does access to justice fall short in practice and how can we improve it? Access to justice really falls short in immigration cases, from my experience. Like, many applicants no longer have the right to a proper appeal. Only an internal review is handled by the same department that made the original decision. It's like no, they don't have any voice, the students or anyone who's facing an immigration issue. In most cases, the applicant even aren't allowed to submit a new evidence or explain the situation again. So the outcome often remains unchanged. This leaves the visa holders stuck with the unfair decision and no genuine path to challenge the authority. I think a fairer solution would be to create an independent judicial appeal process where applicants can present new evidence to their case and have their case heard openly and ensure the system is transparent and accountable for everyone. This would help to, rebuild trust and also make immigration decisions truly fair. Now, the next question is, what policies or actions would you propose to reduce poverty and inequality for young people? And thinking about this, for young people, two things matter the most. For me, also, like housing and education. We need major investment in affordable housing, especially I will use the word affordable here, and stronger rent protection so the young people can actually plan their future ahead. And education should be a debt free or tuition free, including vocational and apprenticeship paths. When housing and education are accessible, we the young people can focus on growth, not just survival. It nearly comes to survival when some people don't do their finances properly. The next question is, describe one successful advocacy campaign or movement I've been part in. So during my internship at Explorer in India, where I did my bachelor's from, it was a college NGO. I joined a tree plantation advocacy campaign. We organized local rice awareness workshops and tackled and tracked how air quality improved in those areas. This campaign didn't just plant trees, it united communities and got local authorities involved. It showed me how data plus community actions can genuinely influence policymakers. Then the next question is, as a young person, what three real powers would you like to hold in decision making? For me, personally, the first power would be financial freedom. It's the most important for me. Being able to make choices without economic pressure or, you know, keeping everything free in mind. Secondly, I think transparency, knowing how decisions are made and having access to honest information. And third, the power of knowledge, I think. Education, awareness are what gives young people the confidence to lead and question unfair systems. So these are the three powers, I think. And how can community service turn lived experience into real service improvements? I think the best way is through collaborative service design. Bring affected people into workshops with providers and policymakers to share ideas directly, as it will help. I think it will affect most of them. And then test small pilot projects before scaling up. Also measure what really matters, not just numbers or waiting times, but also how people feel. They need to be respected, safe, and they need to be heard. That's how you can turn living experience into real life progress. Now, the final question is, to advance anti racism, which three internal practices should organizations change first? First, I think making hiring and pay fair, check for bias and use skills based assessments. Second, share power, give employees groups a budget and real say in decisions. And thirdly, I'll say set real consequences, tie leadership bonuses to diversity goals, and publish results openly so everybody can see that. Being transparent about both progress and setbacks is how organizations build long term trust and equality. Well, these were all the questions, and thank you so much for watching me and giving young people like me a chance and a platform to share ideas. One thing is, I truly believe change begins when system listens to the people they impact. Thank you so much.